Everyone, welcome once again to Vicious Chats. Tim Vicious with me today. It's been 6 months since we've had these cats on here. It is from the Main Event Network, Alejandro, the Great Brown Hope, and with me, Kyle Nix. Guys, Kyle, man, it's been a couple months since you've been on here. And doing the math, it's been roughly a little over 6 or so. How you been holding up?
Doing pretty good. I feel like I've been a pro wrestler for 6 months.
Nice.
Or at least that's what my body feels like. In my brain, I still feel like I kind of started learning how to do it yesterday to some degree, because as you both know, just from following the industry, I mean, I could do this for 20 more years. I'd still be learning stuff, and I've only been learning for one. So I'm feeling like I wrestle a lot, but my brain is telling me that I'm still got a very beginner's mind. So it feels good.
Ibuprofen becoming your best friend?
You know, I used to actually take ibuprofen more than I do now. There's this weird thing I think that happens where your body becomes like, wait, it doesn't hurt? And that feels weirder than when it does.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad to hear on that. And I know last time you were on here, you did the interview and then went right to your wedding. How's the missus been taken to you doing the training and such?
Well, I still have this.
Well, that's a blessing in and of itself.
That's good. No, she's cool. I think the thing I'm the most excited for is for her and a lot of people just to be able to see it, because like I got a lot of people that are excited that I'm doing something that I love so much and have wanted to do for so long, but they have no idea that they're going to show up and watch me just get my ass whooped, and maybe beat somebody up along the way as well. So it's I think the thing I'm the most excited for is for her to be able to see, like, not the end product, but a product, because it's just been a year of her essentially hearing about it.
Okay. She hasn't gone to the gym with you or anything? None of the training sessions?
There's a little part of me that thinks like where I almost don't want her to see it before the finished product too, just because, you know, it's one thing to just like know who I am or whatever, but there's some stuff that I can do in the ring that if you had told me that I was going to be able to do it, I would have laughed at you.
Mm-hmm.
And so for it to kind of surprise some people, I think will be more exciting. So she hasn't seen me in the ring even once.
Wow. Okay. So it's going to be big
Oh,
for her too.
cool.
Like that.
So have you like been doing like any kind of tape studying or keeping up to date with like the television product just to get an idea of, oh, hey, that dude kind of does something that I'd like to try and work on down the road or something?
That is not only is the answer to that question yes, that is such a great question and an important question for anybody that maybe picks this up and is watching for the like sake of learning how to wrestle, right? Because when we talked, I had been training for, I don't know, 3 months or something like that. I had no clue what was going on. Now I've officially graduated a beginner's course that was about 10 months long. And I show up and, I work with pros on a pretty regular basis now. And the one thing that they're always doing, that our group chat always has in it, is different moves, different ways that people do different moves, different ways that moves operate within a match, and why they make sense. The like intricacies of the psychology of in-ring stuff, my specific like dojo and like the guys that I train with are very passionate about. So I watch a lot of film, but I'm a storyteller personally, right? Like all my favorite stuff is, bloodline story. My favorite thing in pro wrestling is the bloodline story. Is all the best in-ring wrestling. Yeah, exactly.
You gotta throw all the ones.
But all the best in-ring wrestling doesn't come from that story. The best in-ring wrestling on planet Earth, in my opinion, probably comes from AEW, depending on who you are, or some other indie stuff. But I'm a storyteller, so being around all these people, they've shown me. And so, yes, the guys that I watch Adam Cole. I love everything that he does in the ring, and plan on maybe, it's a copycat league. I plan on taking a move or two. I watch a lot of him and Tommaso from NXT, original NXT. I like watching Ricochet, not because I can do anything that he does, but because he's actually a very, very good wrestler on top of being a high flyer. And then I like to watch some older stuff. One guy that one of the owners of our the school and the show that our school kind of operates under, Dave, he's a big Don Morocco fan from back in the day. Don Morocco, big buff Hawaiian dude.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing Don Morocco stuff as a kid.
Yeah, typically played a heel. And like, to give you an example, one of the things that I saw, because Dave had brought it up, is before a match would start, he'd be against somebody way smaller than him. But the way that he moved around the ring was the opposite that guys normally move around the ring. Normally you're walking straight and in a circle, but Don Morocco would move backwards. And when the face would come his way, he'd creep out through the rope. And typically he was bigger and stronger and probably looked like he was going to beat up the other guy. So it was the biggest like heel move in the world for Don Morocco to be moving backwards and hiding.
Kind of like doing like a chicken shit heel thing, like, oh, hey, let me get a chance to get my bearings, man.
Exactly. And guys don't do it as well as they used to do it, if I'm being honest. And so I watched some 80s stuff just to, maybe snag a thing or two.
Yeah, it's those little things that people forget about. Things that made the philosophy of storytelling and wrestling so big.
Personally, I think one of the greatest matches in wrestling history is Savage Steamboat WrestleMania 3, not just because of what was in the ring, but because of the story leading up to the match itself, everything that led to it, all the story, and then all of that.
Mm-hmm. So Steamboat's a guy that anybody who ever wants to learn how to wrestle should watch. You have to see what he does with his face. He's the best at like showing you how you should feel while he's wrestling. And that specific match with Savage, they already had so much built up that you didn't even need to tell any more of a story in the match, but they still did. It was beautiful.
Yeah. And I think William Regal told a story once how he would go and do squats for an hour while doing squats, he would watch the Ric Flair Steamboat hour-long match that they had in WCW.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's not a hell of a way to learn, I don't know what is.
Yeah. And to keep it on topic, Alejandro, you just released that article on Sean and some of his stuff with Taker. And I think that on that topic, one thing that I really liked about what you wrote was you brought real human emotion because Sean and Taker did as well, but like mentioning that he literally spins into a depression around this like situation and this idea about coming back and having this match that mattered so much to him. Mm-hmm. I really liked how you put that, and almost would like you to touch on it if you don't mind, just because I was so like drawn into this. Like, of course I watched it while it happened, but I was drawn into how you were writing about the fact that like this tailspin that Sean was actually in, they wrestled the match the same way that the emotion built up to the match. And I thought that was really cool.
No, yeah, he was obsessed. He was obsessed with getting that match. If the one moment where you could tell he literally lost it was when he was eliminated from the Rumble. Remember? And he had no idea what to do. He literally lost his mind at that moment, and that's why he went into the chamber and cost Taker his title, because Undertaker was all about, been there, done that. I'm the world heavyweight champion. I don't have to have a match with you. What do you have that I want?
Yeah,
nothing. And that's what drove Sean crazy. And it had to be touched on because everyone has talked about it, but they don't touch on the fact that this man was a religious man that was obsessed. That is a sin.
Right. Yeah.
He literally almost abandoned his own morals in order to chase down the Undertaker, get him where he wanted him, and then when it came down to it, it was the classic battle of good versus evil. But if it had been evil versus evil, it'd have been a different story. You know what I mean? He would have been a lot more ruthless, and as I mentioned, he would have choked him out probably. He would have choked out the Undertaker at WrestleMania, and that would have been it.
Yeah.
Over. And then the streak would have been over. Lesnar would have never broken a streak. We wouldn't probably have had Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker, or John Cena versus Undertaker, or Roman Reigns versus Undertaker. Would have been a whole different story. And that's the beauty of storytelling, is that you could have still told story after the fact if Shawn Michaels had won. There was still so much to tell, because he wouldn't have just gone back to being Shawn Michaels. He would still be lost in this character. The story would have to tell, the story itself would have to be told where, if, and when he comes back, which he probably wouldn't.
Right.
So storytelling is very important, and that's what made that match important. As you mentioned, storytelling is big in the psychology of it, and their emotions told that story. It wouldn't have mattered if the emotion wasn't involved. So if you don't have a story, sometimes the biggest matches don't matter as much.
Yeah. And so Tim, to like answer your question, like to sort of wrap it back to answer your question, the amount of tape, like this isn't like, you know, I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, right? Luke Kuechly's one of my favorite football players ever. The reason that he was good at his job was because he watched tape like Tom Brady watches tape. Like this guy, professional wrestling has more tape than any sport in the world by light years. And so you can go and find so many stories and intricacies that you can play in. I was watching Ricochet and Adam Cole, the match where Ricochet does the springboard backflip and Cole super kicks him in midair, and it is probably the best like super kick maybe ever thrown. And we just talked about Shawn Michaels, so that might be a little disrespectful, but it is incredible.
The timing on that kick was impeccable. Wicked.
Oh man, it was so good. I dream about that super kick sometimes. But one of the things that's left out of that match that's never talked about is during the shine, the beginning. I don't think I should use pro wrestling talk. They tell you not to do that. In the beginning of the match, when the two of them are like coming together and they're showing that Adam and Ricochet, like they're showing that Ricochet can out wrestle Adam Cole. They do this spot where they do a shoulder tackle. Cole goes down. Adam Cole jumps over him. Ricochet hits the ropes and comes back, and they both jump. And it looks like Adam Cole would be going for another leapfrog, but then Ricochet jumps and like sort of flat drop kicks him in the chest. And they're vertical. Ricochet's vertical is 45 inches, and off a pro wrestling ring, it's even higher than that. Yeah. So he does this thing that looks like a finisher 90 seconds into the match. And I tell you that because when I was running through this film with one of the guys who trains me, Mickey Montoya is his wrestling name. I was laughing at that part because I told him I was looking for simple sequences to put in my matches. And then I sent him that with an LOL. And he was like, don't LOL. Like, don't hold yourself back. Like, if you want to do that, we can do that.
Yeah.
And so that's the fun part about progressing into becoming a real pro wrestler is these things that you see on TV that look impossible. We figure out ways to make them happen.
Yeah, you make it work.
Once you get a chance to actually pull that sequence off in the ring, man, got to make sure to see that.
Yeah, I would actually really like to do it with him in particular. Mickey, he's like actually, funny enough, Ricochet's his favorite wrestler historically, and he's somebody that down the road, or hopefully not too far down the road, I'd really love to have a match with because he's so good.
Yeah, I remember I didn't really get to know who Ricochet was till Lucha Underground. He was Prince Puma. I remember seeing him, and I was like, this guy's gonna be big. This guy's gonna be a big star one day. And Santos,
I think that's where a lot of people, where he popped up on a lot of people's radars. I know I kind of heard of him on and off before that, but then once he popped up on Underground, it was just like, whoa.
Yeah,
him and Chelsea both.
Yeah, Io Sky was there.
Kyrie,
Swerve Strickland, obviously.
AR Fox, Mac. Cage.
Yo, do you guys remember the match where I think it was it Io, Asuka, and Kyrie against?
No, it was Io, Kyrie, and it wasn't Asuka, but I know the one you're talking about. It was the Lotus Triad against Penta.
Yeah, I only have seen clips of that until very recently, where I watched it through, and I can't remember why I can't think of the third person. But you talk about storytelling. that match was so unique in how they built that story. I definitely recommend, if you haven't seen it, to go watch it. That the like gauntlet of those three against Penta and all the different stuff that they had. And honestly, Io, in my opinion, is probably the best wrestler in the world right now. But Penta in that match was so impressive on how he facilitated himself from start to finish. That's another just awesome story that if you just want to watch film on how to tell a story throughout the match, that one's immaculate.
Yeah. That was on a whole other level. Like, not just, I could dissect that for hours.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch some Lucha Underground tapes, man.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see all of them. I saw a good chunk of them, but I gotta go back for that.
I'm trying to think. Another one my son brought up to me that he liked. It was oh Christ. It was Tejano going against Matt Cross. Matt Cross's character, and it was like a bar fight gimmick match.
Oh.
And he was just seeing, like, it was his first time seeing that kind of brutality and violence in a match. And let me ask you, has anyone brought up anything kind of like, so if, like, has anyone tried to talk you into, like, how would you feel if you did this kind of a match or that kind of a match, like ultra violent or hardcore?
You know, not I haven't had a real conversation about that yet. To give you an idea of like where I'm at, you know, the conversations that I have right now about matches that I'll wrestle are very much like, hey, you know what, if you add something like, I don't know, just you know, you guys know what a hope spot is, right? So I talk about having like a spot in a match maybe where it's like a quote unquote quick false hope, where the, you know, babyface might get a couple of good shots in or something like that, but it's quick. It's not like it's a very quick. So I'm talking about how did the psychology behind that, and my trainers and the guys that run my dojo are like, don't can talk about that. We need you to be able to tell a story with section 1, section 2, and section 3 and a finish. That's what we need you to be able to do. But the truth is, Tim, this is going to be a bit controversial. I do not like death matches. I don't like hardcore matches. I actually don't even really like the vast majority of like the big famous ones. I think that they take away from the story most of the time. And so I don't think that I'll probably find myself in anything too crazy. That being said, love a tables match, right? Just purely because it's a different way to finish a match. It's not like, let's like literally like decimate the other person's forehead for 14 minutes.
Yeah, let's put them through 10 tables.
Yeah.
Like one table, you know, that's all you need.
Yeah.
You don't need 10 of them.
No. Exactly. So I don't know. I think that when it comes to like really hardcore, like death matches and stuff like that, it probably won't ever be my cup of tea. The guys that are able to pull it off are amazing. And I don't know what they put on themselves to allow them to walk after they do those, but more power to them. But I don't think it'll ever be my thing. I like a regular wrestling match to some degree. So we'll see. Maybe somebody down the road will piss me off enough where they'll get me into one.
That's not a problem, man. Hey, listen, and I mean no disrespect when I ask on that. It's just, I know a lot of people have very polarizing views on hardcore and death matches. So it's just a matter of personal taste, in my opinion. You know, like you may like vanilla, you may like chocolate, you may like strawberry, that kind of bit.
We talk about flavors of ice cream a lot. Yeah, it's actually a really common thread amongst pro wrestlers. You might be and maybe that's why you bring it, is because you know that it's actually it's a really easy way for us to describe, like, hey man, flavors of ice cream, it's cool, let's move on. And so yeah, that's a really common way of looking at it.
Yeah, and that's really the easiest and best way I know on how to, because I grew up in Philadelphia, right? So I grew up seeing ECW stuff on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. So seeing that is like second nature for me. If I see a blood and guts violent match, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. If I see a technical match, okay, cool. Somebody may not be accustomed to the ultra-violent stuff. Not a problem.
One thing the thing is, though, is that the reason that I would go and watch ECW right now, even though a lot of that stuff isn't my favorite, is because what did they do just about better than anybody else at that specific time? They told stories with the violence. I can really get behind somebody that's telling a really good story. But this stuff where you're just going to show up and the first match you're going to have with somebody ever is, a light bulb
smashing
match or
500
whatever.
light tubes across the back or something.
Nobody's going to convince me personally that that's how I'm going to want to be entertained personally, but that's just my thing.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's like, you're at a show or, let's just, say you take the casual friend. Oh, what kind of match is this? Oh, it's a death match. Why are they having a death match? Oh, just because. It's like, what do you mean? No, it's just there's no purpose. Like, are these guys beefing or something? No, they just both have nothing to do today. They have no other opponents. So, bring out the light bulbs and the tables and shit. Like, let's just destroy each other.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch in, just not in excession, just in a little bit. You got to care about the talent. So, you want to see them fight again at a time and do it all for what do they say? A handshake and a hot dog?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But look at Cardona and help me.
Nick Gage?
Yeah. That was different. Did I love that match? No. I actually, personally, and this is not shaded either of them, they're both unbelievable performers, but I did not like the match at all. But find me a finish that had a crowd reaction better than that one. Like, that crowd was literally like, I assume Cardona was legitimately scared of having to leave that.
I know. I remember when he won I'm pretty sure that was the match he won the GCW title in, right?
I remember now.
Yeah, the crowd was bombing the ring with trash and all.
And that's what I'm saying. If you want to do it like that, I can get behind it. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever do one, but I can see it. I can see the vision. But yeah, like you were saying, to do it just to do it.
Exactly. And there was a purpose for it. There was a championship. You've got two established guys in the industry going at it at an arena that it was sold out, right? Or it was close to sold out or something for that small venue.
It looked sold out.
It looked crowded. It looked crowded for that small little place. It looked crowded. So it had a purpose. It wasn't like it was done in front of 20, 30 people. So, you save it for a place like that. There's a time and place for everything. And, that was a fitting time for that.
Yeah.
That's aside from the in-ring training, how's it been with the weight training? Because I know we talked about that a little bit before, and you were talking about the progress you were making on that.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. I fill out this chair a little bit more than I did last time we talked. I think probably when we were talking, I was probably leaning right around $195, maybe 200 pounds. I'm 215 pretty easily today. And
you can't compete in 205 Live now.
Exactly. Yeah, I've
eating his Wheaties.
Yeah, I've been putting on a good bit. I'm starting to get more intricate with how I'm lifting and how I'm building my body. And the truth is, right now for me, I'm just really happy because I like looking like a bigger dude.
Nice.
I don't necessarily have every muscle showing exactly where you might want it to go, but that stuff takes years. And, by the time that's going to matter a ton to me, I'll probably be progressed enough in the actual wrestling world for it to start mattering. Yeah. But I pick up a lot of heavy stuff. I eat a lot of food, and yeah, it's widened me out a good bit.
Nice.
So, what's your favorite cheat meal? Just got to go on that.
Oh man. Well, right now at the 215, I'm cheating a little bit too often. But it's just kind of the way that I'm going about it right now because I exercise a lot. So, but boy, it's not really a cheat, so I'm kind of probably cheating by answering this way, but like I really like steak a lot.
Ooh.
And so probably a cut of steak that I shouldn't have would probably be my favorite. My sister-in-law works at a place called The Keg close by. And so we get 40% off when we go there. So
Sweet.
yeah, so that's a good spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to the steak for 40% off. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna pay off when you work out anyway, so it's fine. It's all good. Get it in there.
I also like I like breakfast that is like we just got back this morning from this place Tito's down the street, and it's just like a scramble or whatever, but it's a lot of a scramble, and I like
Ooh.
that. Yeah.
Nice. All
Yeah,
right.
and I had to ask that more so just because I do a lot of heavy weightlifting and I'm coaching my son. He's 15 in that. So it's kind of like that whole gym rat mentality of you pick another lifter's brain on that kind of mind on that stuff.
Yeah. I eat a lot. I think I'll probably be leaning to. I can feel my brain grabbing on to looking at sugar content again, and seeing what calories look like in certain kind of things. You know what I just ordered? I just ordered oats overnight for the first thing. This is not sponsored, but if they want to, hit me up. I just got their stuff for the first time. It hasn't even gotten here yet, but you want to, any pro wrestler that wants to look at how to market themselves, look at how Oats Overnight does marketing just in general. Steal their shit, because I don't know how good this is going to be, but their marketing is spectacular.
They got you to get it,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
When we're done, I got to tell you about this company whose earbuds I got. They're way better than like some of the $500 ones you'd see out there in the stores.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
But
For the workout.
But yeah, man, I'm glad to hear that that's all going well for you. And again, doing the marketing thing for sponsorship, that is not a bad thing, folks, because and to take a quote from Scott Hall, it's show business, not show friends.
Exactly. Yeah. And I one of the things that's happening right now, so my dojo that I train in is called Dragonplex, and that's like underneath this show called Peak Sports Entertainment that's in Everett, Washington, which is I'm born and raised in Everett. And we essentially train downstairs in this building, and then the show is upstairs. And one of the things that they're working on right now is the visual component of the show, and how people get to the ring and how it looks, and is this person need a fog machine, and does this person need sparklers, and stuff like that. And the one thing that I'm starting to pick up on is how universal marketing really is, and how it fixes into everything. And the reason that an entrance looking awesome is important is because if I see a cool entrance, I probably am going to like the wrestler before they touch a rope, And so I'm starting to learn a lot more about marketing. I work at a nonprofit, and so we have to market ourselves in all different kind of ways, just so that people can want to learn about what we do. And it's funny how many parallels there are to what marketing yourself as a pro wrestler looks like, and marketing like a recovery related nonprofit. It's really funny how they could be two totally opposite worlds, but the way to market yourself is really parallel.
Yeah, it's all coming from the same teachings and the same dynamics, and it's all about selling yourself. And you were talking about entrances, and like this light bulb went off for Mr. Nix. Why don't you have you thought about getting some saviors to walk to the ring with you?
That's a good question. Well, I don't know if this has been said publicly yet, but there wasn't going to be a K at the beginning of my last name until you brought it up.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned it. Yeah.
And I remember thinking man, that is cool. And of course, when you've got a name that the initials are 2 Ks, you've got to be really careful with the other words that you put around it. And so I'm making sure that I'm keeping that in mind as I navigate that. But I think one of the things that'll probably happen naturally, especially as I transition, because my character will change. I'll show up the first time and be one guy, and in 6 months potentially be a different version of that person, just like any other human being would, right?
Right.
these things move. So I do think that there's probably a place for that to some degree. I also am really looking a lot at like potentially at least in actual wrestling world, Kyle might go away and just be like the one name idea. But yeah, when it comes to having people come with me, I think I need to show up and I guess put my name in the chat or enter the chat, as they'd say, maybe before people would follow me to the ring. But I think that the persona and the switch that gets flipped when Nyx is actually in the squared circle could draw some people to maybe want to walk with him. We'll see how it goes.
There you go. Well, where are you going to hail from? The Sanctuary?
I think in the beginning, I'm just going to hail from Everett because it's true and that'll get a pop. But yeah, as we move on, we'll see. One of the things that I'm learning a lot about is to take from non-wrestling entertainment, right? Non-pro wrestling form of entertainment, which my character, anybody who's ever watched Walking Dead, you can see immediately who I'm inspired by. I'm not hiding it. And actually, my first 2 times ever walking out to the ring, you hear Negan's voice before my entrance music hits.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever done like Negan when he was knocking on the door? Little pig, let me in.
Yeah,
I just thought that was like the most badass way to make an entrance as a villain.
Yeah, there's a few things. I think one of the things that I focus the most on, because I won't necessarily want to borrow his words necessarily. Because I'll want to come up with my own versions with that personality in tow. But I like the way he moves Lucille a lot. I think that the way that and if you look at the comics, it's a lot of that is taken directly from the comics. You can see it in the art. The way that he moves it, the times and the versions of Negan where he's dragging the bat or he's like hitting it against like a fence. All of those things really play into the feelings that he gives you. So those are the little things that I steal from him more than the words in particular.
I like that.
But I think as time goes on, people will be able to see or draw parallels to similar to, remember when one of you isn't going to love this, when LA Knight was in the ring with John Cena and he used that's a good way to get yourself referred to in the past tense.
Yeah.
And at the time, nobody caught it.
Yep.
But John Cena, you can kind of, when you watch it back, you can see him in the background, kind of like look around and see if anybody noticed. I might have little Easter eggs like that.
Yeah. Maybe do the whistle in the ring every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
That would work.
Dude, you know what's so weird? I couldn't whistle 3 years ago. And I'm 30. I'm 34. At 30, I couldn't whistle. And
really?
And somehow I just like started being able to do it. So maybe it means I have to do it.
Yeah, because now you can do it before either your signature move or your finisher, and it kind of alerts the other guy too, like, hey, FYI, it's coming. And the crowd too, the crowd that knows Nyx is like, oh shit, here it comes.
Here it comes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hell yeah, I like that. Hot diggity dog.
That's awesome,
man. But yeah, it's what you're saying is correct. Like, you're not being a complete carbon copy. You're inspired by the character, which in tow doesn't make you a copycat. Because then
very much so in the way like Sting took from the Crow character to be Crow Sting, but he wasn't the Crow. He just took mannerisms from
inspired him. Look, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think I'm gonna wrap. Well, actually.
Oh, 1 second, folks. We're seeing something here. We're getting the big reveal.
Yep. This is not for baseball. Not for baseball.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of beat up a little bit. Look.
You've already been using it, huh?
Been using it at class.
Huh.
In my first match as a I had 2 matches during the summer, and my first one was a tag match that was kind of interesting because I'd never practiced tag matches at the time. Like literally zero. Like I had never once, even at practice, like tagged somebody. And so for my first match to be a tag match, it was kind of funny because when they booked it, they didn't really think about it. And I actually went over in that match, which wasn't the plan initially, but the guys on, well, let me put this a different way. When the match was being discussed, we had mentioned that my brother was in the crowd. And so we sort of changed a couple of the things that happened in the match. And so I ended up winning that match, which was kind of cool. And shout out to those guys who made that happen. But the second match, this was very much a part of the show. And Joey, who I'm still mad at him, actually, now that I think about it. After the match, the ref handed him the bat because the ref had taken the bat from me so that I could not cheat with it. And then Joey Tran, very good wrestler out of Canada. He kneed me directly in the mouth and pinned me in the middle of the ring. And then after the ref gave him my bat, Joey threw it onto the cement and beat it up a little bit. But little does he know, I'm going to make sure that we extend these marks next time I see him.
Nice.
Oh.
Payback.
Somebody's getting a receipt.
Yep. Write his name on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang.
And now we circle back to the whole talking about marketing. Perfect merch idea. You just get a bunch of like wiffle ball bats or metal or and such, or even the small little wooden commemorative ones like at ballparks.
Oh yeah.
And then just have your name on there, and then just simple enough because what's it? The local promotion here, we had a character, Jimmy the Hippie, and you know those giant flowers that have like the twisty stems?
Yeah.
He would sell them. He would sell them like $2 a pop.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got to do cards, right? That's going to happen for sure. Yeah. And then it's funny you said the little commemorative bat because I remember my grandparents had I'm from the Seattle area. My grandparents had like these Mariners commemorative bat pens. It's like a pen at the end.
Okay.
I don't know what.
I remember those. I had a Phillies one like that.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily know if I would go the pen route or not, but like something that is like super inexpensive like that's just got like a little piece of me, whether it's my colors or like, you know, if it's my signature that's just like printed on it so I don't have to like sign a million of them. But like, you know, something like that is definitely probably in the future. The one thing that I think I'm going to avoid actually is like your stereotypical merch. Like, you know, I'll wear a hat to the ring and potentially that hat will evolve as time moves on to be more unique to me. So maybe there'll be hats in the future, but like t-shirts and stuff like that, I think I'm going to like leave out for a significant amount of time and let people spend, you know, do you want the 1/1 Knicks rookie card or the 1 out of 499, you know, and then you can pay however much you want. And I
like that.
I'm glad you brought up the trading cards because I was going to ask you on that also. We got our own little private group chat we do, and we'll talk about cards every now and then. What got you interested in the trading card game at first?
A good friend of mine, his name's Gary. He randomly one time brought me a Will Greer. Used to play quarterback for West Virginia. Got drafted by the Panthers in 2019, maybe. A Will Greer, like immaculate autograph, and you know, $15 card because Greer never really did anything, but it was dope. And I was like, where did you get this? Like I was late to the party, and I started getting into the sports card thing a little bit. And you know, I've got a relatively outgoing personality and really like to perform as often as possible. And so I very quickly jumped into trying to do breaks and all that different type of stuff. And all that stuff went pretty quickly because obviously the more I leaned into it, the more I realized that it's just way too competitive of a market for it to be anything past a hobby, you know. And then what was the first product? I believe that I saw a blaster of Topps, like I can't remember what they call it, like not like finest or chrome, just like the Topps like regular WWE, just like a blaster at a Target. And I was just like, oh boy. And you know, I opened it. I got like I think it was whatever version Chad Gable was at the time, out of like 199 or something. And I just immediately was completely hooked. And this transition to wrestling cards took a little while. But I got completely engulfed in it and still just like absolutely love it. But just what a cool thing to like put all your favorite people on little pieces of cardboard and make real rare ones that people like, or not so rare ones that people like. And, you know, I'm staring at all my favorite ones right here, right above the screen. So
nice.
Big fan.
That's awesome. Dude, that's awesome. You know, I mean, I when I was a teenager, I started getting into fig collecting. And so, you know, I kind of had that same bit. And so I get it totally. I get the collector's game all too well because figures and collector's pins are like my guilty vices.
Yeah. Let me see. I'd like to kind of want to shout out the person that I watched the most tape on right now.
I just got this one. This one's out of 5.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a nice one.
Straight from Japan, baby.
Dang.
It was only $20.
Here, I'll grab this one because as you can see, I'm in my Clemson garb today. They've got an ACC championship that starts in a couple of hours. Let's see here.
We got to get Tim some trading cards, man.
Yeah, Tim, what the heck?
That's cards. I wasn't really my thing, but if we're gonna talk about like little things that are big collectors, prizes. Let me just one moment. Without knocking over my bottle of water that's underneath me.
Send me a list, Tim, of who you would like to collect, and you could probably get your son into it too, and you guys can start buying cards together.
Well, he's into NBA. Me, I'm wrestling and baseball. Yeah, but me, I got Dr. Doom because that's cool. Figure guy. I'm a comic book nerd also. So, and this is one of the old Marvel Legends ones from the early 2000s where, let's see, you could take the mask off on him.
Oh, so it didn't have the interchangeable head. It's just the mask.
No, it's not. Yeah, you can't do a Boyle sesh to.
It's Robert Downey Jr.
Oh yeah, don't get it twisted. If I ever ran into RDJ and I had this on hand, I'd so ask him to autograph it, and it'd be like in one of those giant acrylic cases.
Yeah. Here, so this is the one I'll show to stay on theme.
Oh, that is nice.
Oh, wow. That is a beauty.
That's the rookie one, right?
And for those who are just listening that don't know what we're talking about, that is a JC Jane one. That's when she won her first NXT tag title, right?
Yep. That's what the picture's from. It's her rookie premier level out of Select Prism. Everybody likes their own favorite, but or has their own favorite. But between Prism and Select, typically they're looked at as the two like more sought after sets. And the Tiger from this year was out of retail and really short printed. You can't find a ton of them. And she is my like very low key favorite wrestler to watch. Because what she does really, really well is the combination of staying true to herself and taking it to the next level when it comes to the team that she's on.
Yeah.
I don't want to blow too much smoke up anybody's ass, but I have a really serious feeling that when she gets main rostered, it's going to be a pretty quick incline because she not only is great in ring, but she does a really good job of telling stories at all levels, behind the in front of the camera, outside of the ring, and also in the ring. So I'm a big JC Jane fan.
Yeah, I honestly thought they were gonna get called up with Mandy, but that didn't happen.
Yeah,
and probably good for it at this point. It probably worked out better, but
yeah, there's always a positive light at the end. So I think they'll be all right. Maybe after Netflix, because what they say on SmackDown that they're gonna start doing like
they're gonna be they're doing
windows
open drafts, and they're gonna have they're doing open drafts for trades,
something like that. Yeah,
yeah.
Her and Gigi should. I still think that that Gigi's gonna turn on down the road a little bit, but I think it'd be cool if they had Gigi turn on Tatum and
everybody turns on Tatum except Lyra.
Yeah, and JC turn on, because they kind of are leaning Fallon into a face type character, which kind of surprised me. Is that she's doing like she's working face in some of her matches, which I found interesting, which makes me think, like, what if they do a double turn and JC and Gigi get back together and potentially make a main roster run? I think that would be cool.
And people know them as a team, and they'll pick up some more steam. They've already picked up experience. They've picked up more mic time, more TV time. So they're going to be more fluid once they get to the top. So
yeah,
it'll be good. It'll be a good shift. I mean, they got Lash Legend and Jakara pretty much transitioning already. So you just add 2 more teams to the women's tag division. You've got a nice division. I mean, the divisions are going to get pretty watered down with 2 mid titles, 2 main event titles, and now what is it? It's still just 1 tag belt, right, for the women's?
Yeah, they just got the 1 tag belt to circle around all 3 shows.
Yeah, because they never brought back another NXT women's one. That's right.
Right. Yeah. Which I don't hate. I think that there's a lot of good tag team possibility, though, which is the only reason why I almost wish it was just 1 mid card title and then 2 tag team titles total.
Right.
But it gives you the opportunity to tell a lot more stories too, because just, same down the road with them two, let's say they're a good tag for 6 months and then they break up. I mean, then you can break up around a title if you want. And that makes it mean something.
Yeah. And then we're shifting to 3-hour Raw and SmackDown. So there's definitely going to be a place for it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like the men's US and Intercontinental title belts. Those will now be the main event for women during the week, as opposed to defending the World or WWE Women's Championship.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. The most expensive non-electronic item that I actually own is a GG and JC trading card. So
nice. Is it that NXT one out of 25?
I got to send you guys a picture of it now that I'm thinking about it. The most non-expensive electronic item I got is got to be my Macho Man Slim Jim figure.
Where did you get that one?
I found that I went on Google. I did a search for it and I found it. Every other site I was looking at wanted like $250 or $300 for it, and I found you got the guy who wanted it.
The Mattel one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was after it came. It was after it was done production.
Okay. I thought
I got it. I found that after it was out of production, but every site I was going to or every buyer I was talking to, they wanted like $250 or $300 for it.
Sounds about right.
And I found this one dude. I was lucky. He only wanted like $90 for it and asked for like maybe $10 for shipping. So I was just like, yeah, dude, where do I sign?
Yeah, that's not bad. He probably bought it for $30 and that 1 of 1.
Oh, now again, for those that do not see, that cannot see, it is JC Jane, Gigi Dolan, Toxic Attraction autograph card.
Yeah, it's a on card 101 out of Immaculate dual superstar worn WWE logo patch.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. Well, let me put it this way: it only survived eBay for about 7 minutes.
Oh, so it got listed and you had just seen it, right?
When it got posted, I think I probably had 5 DMs within the first 5 minutes that it was online.
Shit.
I sent an offer to the seller immediately, and he accepted my first offer.
Hell yeah!
Nice.
Yeah. The most expensive one I have, I actually got from Kyle. It's a 4 signature card. I have it put away somewhere. I'm trying to get it framed, but I put it away so it doesn't, get dusty or whatever. But it's a booklet card signed by Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, Marina Shafir, and Jessamine Duke, and only 25 exist. Only 25 across the board exist. So
nice,
that's a pretty
dude.
big
I opened that box. Listen, I used to get stuff shipped directly to my work. I used to work at a bank, and I would just have stuff shipped straight to the bank because I didn't have to deal with it being left on a porch or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was so excited to open that box, that Women Division 21, I think.
21, yeah.
And all that I cared about was the booklet in it, because the year before had the 4 horsewomen of NXT, or just the four horsewomen, and then the one that you have now is the 4 horsewomen of MMA, that transitioned over. And I was just like, the only card that I wanted was the booklet. Like, there were other cool ones in there, but the one I was looking for was the booklet. First box of the product I opened, and you pull the stack of cards out, because it's just one fat stack in those. And you can just see clear as day that the booklet was in there. I couldn't believe it.
That's awesome, dude. So let me ask you now. Also, I brought this up last time when you were on. I don't know if like maybe your goals or your thoughts have changed, but have you thought of like maybe have this be like a potential springboard to jump into other territories or promotions, like working at like somewhere down in California, or maybe moving into working a show in Vegas, to Texas, to Colorado, and so on and so on?
Yeah, good question. I work with a lot of guys and gals right now that are so good and travel. And, out here we have like our territory is kind of Vancouver, BC in Canada, Seattle area, and then down to like Portland, Oregon. And pretty much that whole group wrestles shows together throughout that area for the most part. So right now it's just about getting booked on like my home show and being able to entertain the people right here at home. But the one thing that I would say has shifted a little bit is I see reasons why I might work other promotions that aren't just the one that like I train at. And most of those, though, for me, they don't necessarily revolve around like opportunity or trying to make this a career, because that's not something that I'm super passionate about. But, I've met guys on here, just like I met you guys, that, I don't know, bought a Sami Zayn card from me one day and said that they love him and they're training to be a wrestler, and they steal a lot of his stuff. And then a conversation starts, and then the next thing you know, we're talking about like, oh, hey, we're like have this cool way that we met, and also both know how to do this dance now. Maybe that means that there's a reason to just link up and just go beat each other up one time randomly. There's cool reasons to do that. But do I see myself flying all over the country? And wrestling, I don't necessarily see that vision yet, but I would be more open to it now if it ends up turning out right. But I got a lot of work to do.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
You already won 1 year in, though.
So
got to keep going, keep pushing.
One thing that's true is my body can take it, and I think that was something that I was scared of initially. Being, a decent athlete growing up, but not having a big span of time in between my last consistent athletic adventure. But going in there, working through a couple of tough injuries and coming out feeling really, really good now, it makes me feel more like I might be able to put a little bit more time into it than maybe I originally thought.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear on that. I hope for nothing but the best. And I say this to everyone, but thank you guys both for taking the time to come on here. You guys could have been out there doing anything, but you guys chose to be here. You guys always got my thanks, and y'all are more than welcome to come back anytime. No need to bring the bat out. I'm being friendly.
Oh, good point. That's my fault.
Had to slip that in. Hell yeah. That's right.
Now, look. I got a Singapore cane right here, but I'm pretty sure steel beats wood anytime.
Are we doing Tim Vicious versus Kyle Nix down the road?
Hey, I mean,
man.
the thing is that at this point, I think that I like Tim too much.
Yeah,
I don't know if it would make sense,
I don't
but
know,
maybe
man.
one of these interviews will go sideways.
I get the feeling like, Rock, Hogan, Roman, Heath Slater, Kyle Nix, Tim Vicious. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, you see a main event anywhere in the world, I guarantee get 20 stars at the Tokyo Dome.
Yep,
20
easily,
exactly.
easily.
Yeah, hands down. That's any socials or anything that you guys got coming up. By all means, both of you guys, feel free to plug them out.
No, just the usual stuff. We got new blogs coming next year, but we haven't revealed it yet. But I talked to Main Event fam and the interns to get them to work. So starting next year, we're gonna have the daily results shows. So we didn't have that before. So if you missed Raw, SmackDown, and don't have time to watch it on YouTube, you could read it for 5 minutes and run through what you might have missed. That's about it. That's pretty much about it. Just follow us, Main Event Network. Follow me at what is it still called Twitter? I still call it Twitter. Follow me
from Coming to America, it's Mama named it Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, mine's it's Kyle Nix on Instagram now. It's Kyle Nix on Twitter as well. But the one thing that I will shout out is Peak Sports Entertainment. They're putting on some really, really good shows, and one of these days, some angry looking dude in a leather jacket and a baseball bat's going to show up, and it's going to get really fun really fast.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Man. Once you guys figure out the stream, let us know. We'll be there.
I think we're working towards getting the shows streamed live, so I'll keep you guys posted.
Oh yeah, let us know. Maybe
definitely, man. We'd love to do that. And the Main Event Network, we work. We're willing to go out there. We'll find a way to sponsor a match.
Yeah.
Just gotta talk to the bosses. I'm sure we could get that done. But man,
let us know. Me and Tim will sponsor your match if you need anything. We're here for you. We got you. Anything at all.
Appreciate that, guys.
The bat breaks, we'll get you a new one.
Oh, good.
And you can break that one. It's all gravy.
All right. Thank you guys again for coming on. I do appreciate it.
Happy holidays, guys. You guys take care, y'all.